Hello, this is QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Caraba Avenue, and I am Jul Denyai. Thank you for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The National Assembly of the Gambia and the Westminster Foundation jointly held the third National Assembly Open Day at the National Assembly grounds in Banjul on Saturday. The IVMHO, a not-for-profit organization, launched its recently completed center in New Yundum, which, among other things, provide voluntary psychosocial support services for persons with mental health issues. In their efforts to combat human trafficking in West Africa, the Gambia Police Force, in collaboration with Interpol, concluded a 4-day specialized training for representatives from the law enforcement and judiciary sectors. The National Association of Cooperative Credit Unions of the Gambia, in collaboration with African Confederation of Cooperative Savings and Credit Association, on Friday held a regional forum on the theme Empowering Financial Cooperatives to Provide Sustainable Financial and Environmental Responsibility. In sports news, the Gambia National Paralympic Committee, GNPC, is urging the government, the private sector and the public to provide funding for their allowances as they prepare for international competitions. These and other stories coming ahead in the next half an hour. Do stay tuned. Thank you very much for staying with us. And now let's look at the news. The National Assembly of the Gambia and the Westminster Foundation jointly held the third National Assembly Open Day at the National Assembly grounds in Banjul on Saturday. Presided over by Deputy Speaker CDS Kenjai, the day is an opportunity to celebrate the work and contribution of the legislature and share the Parliament's challenges. Aliu Sise was in attendance, and this is his report.
The theme of the gathering for this year is bringing Parliament closer to the people. It is conceived to raise public awareness for better understanding of the constitutional role of the Parliament, which includes legislation, oversight and representation, as well as the processes involved in performing these functions. It is the view of the organizers that such a gathering, which brings together people from diverse sectors, will enhance transparent, inclusive and accountable governance in the Gambia. Speaking on behalf of the Clerk of the National Assembly, Buba M. Jata, Deputy Clerk, Admin and Finance, says the forum demonstrates Parliament's commitment to regularly interact with their constituents.
I therefore encourage all of you to make maximum use of the day to explore Parliament building and learn about how the institution performs its core mandate.
Usman Jala of Westminster Foundation and Honorable Bilaji Tunkara, Majority Leader respectively, see the Open Day as another opportunity to dialogue on the unique history, work and challenges of the Parliament.
Let me once again express our appreciation and gratitude to the Speaker and the Clerk, and indeed to the entire members of staff of the National Assembly for the immense cooperation and partnership they render to WFD since its establishment.
Without Parliament, there is no democracy. And that is why it is you, through you, the youth and women, you send us here to make sure that we account on the monies you pay to government.
CDS Kenjai, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, says the sixth legislature is now more empowered under the current government of President Barrow to enhance its independence and facilitate their work. He told the gathering that the current legislature has passed several laws, including the anti-corruption law and the access to information law.
Whilst performing oversight over the executive, both the standing and select committees have performed remarkably well. The social sector committees such as education, health and agriculture, as well as accountability committees like the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, are making great strides through parliamentary oversight to contribute to the broader goal of alleviating poverty and promoting development.
Hashim Sise, Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture and a respected Gambian historian, has this to say.
Majority leader position was created in 1962 Okay? A minority leader position was also created in the same year. We still have the committees. You have so many committees now. And this also started in 1954. Like committee for this, committee for budget, and allocations, committee for this, foreign affairs, and so on and so forth. You see? And it's the same. Their work remains the same. Committees is committees. You see? I mean sessions. You see? Before there is a session, the Honorable Clerk will put a notice in the newspaper, to announce it. It has always been like that.
The attendees are taking on a conducted tour of the parliament. Meanwhile, a small crowd of anti-FGM advocates used the event to also manifest their disapproval of the planned introduction of a bill to repeal the law banning FGM. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now, the IVMHO, a not-for-profit organization, launched its recently completed center in New Yundum, which, among other things, provide voluntary psychosocial support for persons with mental health issues. And Sumana Sonyasi was at the event, and he now reports.
With only one psychiatric hospital, the Gambia, like several other countries, faces many challenges in dealing with mental health problems. However, in their quest to provide a safe space for mental health patients, the International Voluntary Mental Health Organization, IVMHO, in partnership with Stichting Togenklich, a Dutch organization that supports mental health initiatives globally, Solomon Correa, founder of IVMHO, and Hanks Keepers, whose organization supported the building of the center, says the center will provide well-coordinated psychosocial programs for persons dealing with mental health challenges, and called on the public to endeavor to support their loved ones who may be dealing with mental health problems.
So many things happen due to things that are interrelated, factors that trigger stress and aggravate our emotions. We may be able to control it one way, we may be able to also have a negative way to react. It all determines our positive mental health.
We are proud to see what kind of effective organization you have built, but also very proud that you, together with the builders, succeeded in creating this physical center, an up-to-date new building. And knowing you, it will not stop here. We, as foundation, wereldwijd toegankelijk, with the IVMHO a lot of success in making their vision and mission happen.
National Assembly members Abdullah Njai of Banjul Central and Maud Lamin Biba of Banjul North, Deputy Chair of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, commended IVMHO for establishing a center that will offer free support to mental health patients.
It fills me with immense pride to reflect on the long-standing relationship I have had with this remarkable organization since its early days, when it was known as the Supportive Activist Foundation. Our partnership dates back to a time when the landscape of mental health advocacy was still evolving and the stigma surrounding mental illness was pervasive.
Just of recent, we were engaged in a local hotel to go through the draft mental health bill that is about to be submitted to the executive so that it can be further submitted to the parliament for ratification, which will be a very big plus as far as Gambia is concerned as a nation. Because what we have is the Lunatic Detention Act, which was since 1964.
Meanwhile, speaking on behalf of the matron of Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Hospital, Babukar Sise implores members of the community to ensure that the center functions as expected by supporting. There were several other speakers, including Landing Jaju of the Gambia Armed Forces and Pa Samba Bojang of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, who all commended the initiative. Founded in April 2016, the International Voluntary Mental Health Organization provides voluntary psychosocial support services, socio-cultural activities, counseling and referrals, and psychoeducation programs, amongst others. The center also has a studio where all awareness-raising materials will be produced by volunteers to educate the public on mental health. Ansumane Sonyasi for QTV News.
Well, laudable initiative there. Now moving on, in their efforts to combat human trafficking in West Africa, the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, in collaboration with the Gambia Police Force, concluded a 4-day specialized training for representatives from the law enforcement and the judiciary sectors. Let's have more details of that in this report. Trafficking in human beings is a lucrative and fast-growing form of crime that involves the recruitment of victims by various means, such as violence, deception, or force for the purpose of exploitation. In West Africa, one common type of human trafficking is the exploitation for labor, in which the Gambia is no exception. The U.S. Department of State placed the Gambia at Tier 2 on the 2022 Trafficking in Persons report. The report indicates that even though the government of the Gambia does not fully meet the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking, it is making significant efforts to do so. This is phase 2 of a 3-year project funded by the U.S. Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs to the tune of $700,000. Here is Adamo Liman Yahya, coordinator of the Human Trafficking and Smuggling of Migrants Unit.
I'm convinced that during this week you have come on a rewarding journey made up of discoveries, learning, and sharing. I have no doubt that your active participation has contributed to making this experience a collective success.
The training aims to enhance the capabilities of participants in identifying, investigating, and prosecuting cases related to human trafficking. Through a series of workshops, presentations, and practical exercises, attendees have gained valuable insights into the complexities of human trafficking and learned best practice for effectively addressing this heinous crime. The beneficiary countries are Benin, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, and Togo. Dr. Rebecca Taylor, the Chief Political and Economic Officer of the U.S. Embassy, and Ms. Enrica Pellicani, head of the EU cooperation, expressed optimism for the collaboration and the impact of the training.
People from the Gambia to learn at our training centers, our regional training centers. I always hear that the Gambian participants are the strongest. I hear that they come prepared and very, very eager to learn.
I think that I would like to acknowledge as well that 1 year ago there was a landmark conviction of a sex trafficker, and as well I was aware that over the past months there has also been attempts to also bring to justice people, migrant smugglers.
Representing the IGP, Commissioner Pa Aliu Jawara, head of National Central Bureau, acknowledged the support of national authorities to international police cooperation through Interpol channels to combat organized crime and dissolve criminal networks operating in the region.
As we depart from this workshop, let us carry forward the lessons learned, the connections made, and the commitment kindled within our hearts. Let us remain steadfast in our dedication to protecting the vulnerable, seeking injustice for the oppressed, and holding perpetrators to account for their crimes.
Ben Fall, a participant, thanked the facilitators and donors for the training. As the training concluded, participants departed with renewed determination and a shared commitment to safeguard human rights and combat human trafficking. The event served as a testament of the collective efforts of the international community to combat human trafficking and protect the most vulnerable members of society. Certificates were awarded to the participants. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai. Well, the report there takes us to a commercial break. When we return, we have some more local stories as well as sports news stories for you. To stay tuned.
The Gambia Revenue Authority GRA will hold the 6th edition of the Taxpayers Appreciation and Award Ceremony on Saturday, March 2nd, 2024. Oh yes, the awards is dedicated to our esteemed and valued taxpayers who consistently pay their taxes and duties on time, file their tax returns on time, present authentic and original customs documents, and comply with relevant provisions of the revenue laws. The ceremony will be graced by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow, Cabinet Ministers, senior government officials, members of the business community and development partners. A memorable night is assured in this year's award ceremony, which will take place on Saturday, March 2nd at the Kairaba Beach Hotel, commencing at 7:30 p.m. GRA is your GRA. GRA is our GRA, collecting revenue for national development. Tobacco Control Act 2016 came into force in December 2018. Section 9 of the Act gives every person the right to a tobacco smoke-free environment, and a person consuming a tobacco product shall ensure that he or she does not expose another person to tobacco smoke. The Tobacco Control Act 2016 prohibits smoking, including the use of shisha in public places, workplaces, and public transports. A person shall not smoke in any part of any public place, workplace, or public transport and within 100 meters of such place. These places include hotels, restaurants, bars, office buildings, schools, garages, prisons, police cells, video clubs, and public service vehicles, among others. Any person responsible for a public place, workplace, or public transport shall ensure the observance of this section. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Management Sciences for Health.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV News with me, Julden Jai, and now to the rest of our stories. The National Association of Cooperative Credit Unions of the Gambia, NACOC, in collaboration with the African Confederation of Cooperative Savings and Credit Association, on Friday held a regional forum at the Babukar Oju Conference Center at the Gambia Teachers Credit Union Cooperative Union Complex in Birkama. Lolly M. Kamara attended, and this is her report.
The theme for this 5-day high-level convergence, which started on Tuesday, is empowering financial cooperatives to provide sustainable financial and environmental responsibility. Organizers say the event is held in different member states annually, and it ensures that the activities of ACOSCA remain relevant in meeting the challenges faced by Africa. Fode Sanyang, the executive officer of NACOC, elaborates.
The Gambia alone have 75 delegates to this forum. The idea and the objective is to enhance capacity, because the first 2 days were capacity building. We had pre-workshops on different topics that were discussed, and cooperators from the sub-region facilitated these pre-workshops. It culminated today with the plenary, where we have guest speakers. As you're aware, the Honorable Minister was here, the Central Bank Governor. Central Bank is part of our regulators, so that's why they were invited to participate in.
Paul J. Mendy, the second Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, on behalf of the Governor, states that, as in many other West African countries, the Central Bank of the Gambia recognizes the immense role of financial cooperatives in promoting inclusive growth, adding that these institutions serve as a critical source of financial services for the unbanked and underserved populations, allowing easy access to essential financial services, promoting entrepreneurship, job creation, amongst other things.
It is my view that the involvement of the Central Bank in the development of credit unions has a significant impact on increasing transparency and accountability. By inculcating stringent oversight, supervision, and regulation, the bank has helped to boost the credibility of financial institutions under its watch.
With about 150 officials from cooperatives in attendance, representing 5 African countries, the gathering seeks to highlight the need to empower credit unions, their members and leaders, with knowledge, skills, and resources to drive innovation and growth effectively. With the numerous challenges encountered, Mr. Sanya said the union is ensuring that financial cooperatives are here to stay and complement the efforts of the government in terms of elevating poverty. As per their current strategic plans, they want to have more community-based credit unions. Babukar Ojuf, the Minister of Trade and the event's guest speaker, pointed out that by providing affordable credit, savings opportunities, and other financial products, Cooperatives enable individuals to invest in their livelihoods, educate their children, and improve their overall well-being.
We recognize that it is through our collective efforts and solidarity that we can achieve meaningful and sustainable progress for all. And expanding on the topic, promoting sustainable community development through cooperatives requires a multifaceted approach, not leaving government behind, bringing along our partners, all of them.
There were insightful presentations by Josh Ombado, CEO of ACOSCA, and Kwang Yung Jong, Regional Coordinator, DICS West Africa. Established in 1968, ACOSCA is a Pan-African confederation of national associations of savings and credit cooperative societies. The forum aims to equip participants with the tools and strategies to drive sustainable growth, focusing on key issues such as governance, membership growth, regulatory compliance, and risk management. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Now, 26 junior and senior soldiers of the Gambia Armed Forces have been decorated with various ranks at a ceremony held at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School at Fajara Barracks. Momodo Gajaga was in attendance, and this is his reports.
Following the successful completion of rigorous training and conduct, these soldiers are decorated to various ranks. 4 were promoted from private to lance corporal, 7 to corporal, 4 to sergeant, and 11 to staff sergeant ranks. Sekou Jaju, chief instructor at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School, says the decorated soldiers have a lot to live up to.
Let me be quick to say this as a reminder to you fine men and women in uniform. Inasmuch as this decoration ceremony serves as a reward in recognition for your hard work, it also serves as another beginning of a greater responsibilities in your army careers. As instructors, always remind yourselves that you will always be the fallback position for your colleagues in other battalions, and you can't afford not to rise to the occasion when they come knocking. Though I have no doubt that you will live up to expectations, always learn to be each other's keeper. Protect your brother in arms, protect your country, protect your family, and protect your societies.
Senior officers and family members of the promoted soldiers attended the decoration ceremony, including their wives, 2 of whom were allowed to decorate their husbands. Lieutenant Colonel Seni Bayo, commandant of the Gambia Armed Forces Training School, says they don't only train them to be soldiers, but to become productive members of society.
Gambia Armed Forces Training School do not only train, but it goes beyond limit to all educate and develop its staff, members of the armed forces, to become invaluable assets to the force in the execution of their constitutional mandate. The actors behind those success and achievements are indeed no other than but the very soldiers, instructors who are to be decorated to their new ranks this morning. Sir, as the commandant of the school, I am very much aware of the challenges associated with instructing, having served as an instructor myself for 9 years.
Staff Sergeant Ansumana Baji, one of the soldiers decorated, gave the vote of thanks.
I would like to thank the school command for the trust and confidence bestowed on us by yet again giving us these additional responsibilities in the execution of our duties. Sir, on behalf of my colleagues, I hereby assure you that we are very much aware of the tasks and responsibilities this promotion comes along with, and we will neither relent nor fall short in doing what is required in the accomplishment of the assigned duties to all.
As it is the military tradition, the newly decorated soldiers were soaked with water by their superior officers and made to crawl on the floor. Mumudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, congratulations there to the soldiers on their promotion. Now let's head straight to sports. The Gambian National Paralympic Committee, GNPC, is urging the government, private sector and the public to help provide funding for their allowances as they prepare for international competitions. The committee has also launched an athlete development program for parasports. Here is Momodu Gajaga again.
The National Paralympic Committee says it has been working on a number of parasports development initiatives, including recruiting wheelchair-bound basketball players. There are also plans to take more athletes to international competitions in Tunisia, the United Arab Emirates and Japan. These competitions will also serve as qualifiers for the Paralympic Games in Paris, which will take place from the 28th of August to the 8th of September 2024. Haji Drame, the GNPC's press attaché, explains.
So the countrywide scouting, just recently, the reactivation of the basketball team in URR, happened. Mr. Martin Johnson is with us here. He's a coach. He traveled with the vice president to Basse, URR. He's also a coach, a basketball coach. So they went there and engaged our colleagues in the URR, and we can report today to say it was a successful meeting because we have, they were received there by, the deputy governor and also the youth rep, our representative in the council at the URR, and some, key stakeholders, gathered together to brainstorm and look at things that can add value to the cause of promoting disability sports, which is parasports.
The Paris 2024 Games will be one of the biggest sporting events ever organized in France, bringing together 4,400 of the world's most outstanding Paralympic athletes. The committee urged the government, the private sector, and the public to support their athletes, primarily for their bonuses. In these various sporting activities, funding for air tickets and lodging is already secured, but bonuses for athletes are not available. Seni Kamara, Secretary General of the Gambian National Paralympic Committee, urged the government, the private sector, and the public to support the athletes.
All we are asking for now is your support to pay allowances for our teams that are traveling to these games, the classification games and the qualification games. We have 2 qualified classification officers. For these specific 5 trips we are asking for, is just specifically is about $575,000. So which is less than $600,000 for these 4 months.
The Paralympic Games are more than just a sporting event. They offer a unique opportunity to shine a spotlight on sport and disability, inspire individuals, bring about social change, and promote inclusive professional and sports opportunities for people with disabilities. The Paralympic Games will see all of France embark on an adventure unlike anything it has experienced before. The Gambia's athletes will compete in powerlifting and athletics at the Paralympic Games in Paris. Through their international connections, they have obtained funding for athletes' travel and lodging, but not allowance. As the saying goes, disability is not inability. If these athletes are supported, some of them may become sport professionals and their lives will be transformed forever. Momodu Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Join us tomorrow for the Weekend Review with Ade Drame and Momodu Mboj. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company. Do have a wonderful evening.